So guys, it's 2019. Most smartphones you see are just kind of a slab of glass. What you see is what you get. There really isn't too much deviation from that. However, guys, for the niche market, there are Blackberries and other devices with full QWERTY physical keyboards. Now the question is a physical keyboard relevant in 2019? And to answer that question, we need to go back about 10 years. So 10 years ago, smartphones were just starting to get really popular. The iPhone was just starting to appear. A lot of people were like on Windows mobile devices, on Blackberry devices. Most people love that physical keyboard feel just because screen technology was not very good. Smartphone screens were small, laggy. It just felt better to type with a real keyboard. It just worked better. But now in 2019, when we have huge devices where the screens go from like 5.5 inches up to like 6.5 inches, close to 7 inches, it's super easy to type on a software-based keyboard. For me, a physical keyboard in 2019 just hinders the whole evolution of a smartphone. So smartphones these days are made for social media. They're made for video watching, like what you're doing right now. And they're just made for like multimedia experiences. They're made for absorbing content. And the thing with the Blackberry, the keyboard just kind of gets in the way. What the keyboard does, the physical keyboard, it reduces your screen real estate. It makes for very awkward video watching where it puts the letter boxes on all four sides of the screen. Basically where I'm getting at, like, no, like straight up to me, the keyboard is not relevant in 2019 to me. There are probably some people out there that really do value the physical keyboard. Some people may just like the physical keys. Some people may have a handicap where the physical keys are better to use and more comfortable. It's just a preference, but I think for a large majority of my audience in 2019, it's just not really where we're moving to. It just kind of takes back everything that we've grown used to. And the fact that it hinders your social media use and video use is another thing. I do want to commend Blackberry though, because what they did do is make great use of their physical keyboard, because the spacebar itself is the fingerprint reader, so that's great use of space. Also, the physical keyboard itself is like a capacitive touch sensor, so you can use the keyboard to actually scroll. So Blackberry did their best to make use of all the space there. No space is really wasted. So for those that really do want a physical keyboard and having that smaller screen, if you want to scroll, like your finger doesn't get in the way. If you're the type of person that just wants to type up emails most of the day, maybe check social media very little, maybe watch a video here and there, this will be great for you. Or if you just want like a business phone and you don't want any distractions from anything, social media, video watching, Netflix, these are perfect because you're not really gonna wanna watch or do any of those things on these devices either. This is just like a strictly, I think Blackberry has even said this before, like this is a strict like communication device. It's not like a content absorption device, if that makes any sense. And I really do believe that. So you already know, like you probably already have made up your decision just looking at it if you could use this or not. I personally don't really think I will be gravitating towards any physical keyboard devices in 2019 or in the future, just because I enjoy a big screen like on the iPhone XS Max and other devices like that. So guys, it's just all based on preference and what we're used to. So the past about 10 years, we've just been conditioned to getting used to software-based keyboards. So going back to a physical keyboard is pretty jarring in 2019. And since software-based keyboards have gotten so good and the autocorrect has gotten so good, it's just an awkward experience. I think when I type on the physical keys, it's like my fingers almost get cramps in them, like it's uncomfortable for me. And guys, I even put a poll on Twitter asking what you guys thought about a physical keyboard in 2019. Let's just see what you guys voted on. So I don't have the most poppin' Twitter, so I only got 29 votes. So 20 out of 29 votes, 93% said a physical keyboard is irrelevant in 2019. And I asked for some additional thoughts, and William S. said, I'd rather have a bigger screen, waiting for 6.8 to 7 inch screens. So definitely having the physical keyboard does take up some screen real estate, so that's just one thing to keep in mind. And in 2019, we want to have the biggest screen possible because we're into social media, we're into video watching, we're into content absorption, where the keyboard just kind of gets in the way. So Tim Roseberry says, my biggest gripe about physical keyboards is they take up too much useful space. On a phone with a physical keyboard, when I'm not typing, the keyboard is still there. I don't need a keyboard when I'm watching YouTube or Netflix or playing games. Well said. I pretty much covered all of that previously, so glad to see we share the same opinion. And then Landon McCoy says, honestly, physical keyboards are great and all, but as haptic feedback and even possibly pressure-sensitive screen technologies improve, they're more of a hindrance than a benefit. Like Tim Roseberry said, the physical keyboard is always there, even when watching vids / playing games. However, maybe if tech improves to the point where companies could include a slide-out keyboard hidden in the bottom of the phone, like the slide-out front camera on the Oppo phones, then I could see them being a thing. But that would be hard dealing with ports, jacks, waterproofing, etc. So yeah, guys, the more moving parts that you add to a smartphone, the more likely it is to break on you. So the physical keyboard itself is one thing, but then if you start adding like a sliding mechanism, that's another thing to break. It's another thing that probably can't be waterproofed. It's another thing that will probably be really prone to dropping. So I think what's beautiful about smartphones, having just a big old boring screen is great because it adapts to what you're doing. If you're typing, it can pull up a keyboard. If you're flying a drone, it can pull up what the drone sees. If you're watching a video, it can pull up a YouTube video. If you want to comment on something, it will pull up the keyboard and the comments. It's just a very basic but simple way around things. And it was said beautifully, having the keyboard there is just a waste of space because you're not always typing. But like I said before, if you want a phone strictly for business and all you do is type and answer emails and do stuff like that, and you use the keyboard like 90% of the time, then this would be a great option. But for a lot of people, it's not. So guys, that being said, I don't think the Blackberry Key2 is for me or any other smartphone with a physical keyboard. But you probably know if you want a physical keyboard, maybe you have a specific reason. I would love to hear that specific reason in the comment section below. And if you are interested in picking up a Blackberry Key2, I will put a link in the description below. Just check it out there. Thanks a lot for that. And if you did enjoy this video, guys, be sure to give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Bye.